Say, man, y'all looking to build some muscle, man? That's good, man. That's real good. Y'all done come to the right place then. The fuck out the way. Alright guys, it's time for part 2, so let's get to the first question. Where to place cardio in the novice program, how cardio fatigues legs. Alright, if you're doing my novice program, it's only 3 days a week, and since it is a very high volume, high workload program, and you will need those days to recover, do low intensity cardio only. I don't want to see any HIIT or anything like that. Low intensity cardio, and do it on your off days. You've got 3 to 4 days a week to where you can do the lower intensity cardio just to burn through some calories, let you eat more food, build your work capacity, build up your cardiovascular capacity. You have at least 3 days a week that you're free to do that on. Do it on those off days. And as long as you're recovering okay and you're not hitting stalls continually on the squats while eating enough to be gaining weight slowly, then continue to do it. And if you feel you need more than those 3 days, then very carefully work it in on your training days at some point in the day after you did the lifting already. I don't want you to do cardio before you do this program on the same day. All right, next question. Do you think a 2 times bodyweight bench press is possible for the majority of drug-free lifters, assuming they've been training long and hard enough? For the genetically average, the majority are not going to be genetically elite. Maybe if you're staying in the lighter weight classes. The thing you need to remember, bodyweight multipliers are not used in powerlifting for a reason. If they were, the lightweights would be winning every single meet around the world. Heavyweight powerlifter would never win again. Because what you find is that the heavier you get, even if it's from gaining muscle, those multipliers, meaning a multiplier of your body weight for the bench press and the squat and so on, actually get lower. It will be more difficult for you to reach those same multipliers the more weight you gain, even if you're muscle weight. So in the heavier weight classes, you start getting up near the 90 kilo, which is the 198, or the 100 kilo, which is the 220. Drug-free guys hitting double body weight bench presses, truly drug-free guys hitting double body weight bench presses are insanely rare. Insanely rare. And even among enhanced lifters, it's fairly rare. You can go to several powerlifting meets in a row and not see anybody, even in the ones where the guys are allowed to use drugs with no drug testing, and you might not see anybody hit a double body weight raw bench. Or you might go to another meet and 12 guys do it. But it is relatively rare, and then when you get into true drug-free guys, it's very, very rare. So it's unlikely. It is more likely in the lighter weight classes. But the heavier you get, the more unlikely you are that you're going to hit it, particularly drug-free. And I'm not saying it's not something you should strive for, because you might have those amazing genetics. You might be one of those people who can pull it off, maybe not in the 100 kilo, but if you stay down in a lighter weight class, you stay down in the, the near 170 pounds, and you bust your ass and you've got good genetics, you very well might get there. No drugs involved. Case in point, how many of the guys that you see right now who are on YouTube who compete in the IPF or the USAPL and are doing very, very well. They're winning meets, they're going to championships, presumably drug-free. I'm not going to say they're all drug-free, but they claim to be. How many of them do you see hitting double body weight bench presses? Go through and count them, and then come back and tell me what you think the odds are. All right, next question. Jason, you always say that bodybuilding is not healthy, and I agree. Being 3 to 6% body fat year-round can't possibly be healthy, and it damn sure isn't. We've seen enough blood work to know it's not. But in your opinion, what body fat percentage would be perfectly healthy to maintain year-round, considering a person wants to be as lean as possible within healthy parameters? This is really going to vary from person to person. There are some guys who are just naturally like 10% body fat before they even got into training. They exist. That's a genetic freak trait, but they exist. That person might be able to drop down to 8% body fat and stay there while having fantastic health, great blood work, health markers, mood, sex drive, everything fantastic. But they are in the minority. That's a rare individual. I'm going to say for most guys around 10%. And you're going to want to, if you want to get bigger, you're going to need to bulk up a little bit above that. You might want to go as high as 12% and then cut back to 10% if you're really obsessed with staying lean. And if you are, that's your personal business. I think it can be a bit silly, but I'm not going to tell you not to do it if that's really what you're dead set on doing. So you might have to bulk up to 12% every now and then cut back to 10%. But I would say 10% is a number that you can maintain long term while still keeping a good sex drive, while keeping good blood work, and maintaining your overall health. I think 10% is a good number. You start going under that, it can be problematic in the long term. And for a lot of guys who are going, oh, that sucks, that sucks. A lot of you don't realize 10% body fat. I know a lot of guys who tell me they're 10% body fat, who when I look at them, they're closer to 18 to 22% body fat. 10% body fat's a lot leaner than most people seem to actually realize. You should have a nice deep six-pack, some decent striations in your chest, good delt separation, all of that. You should have plenty of veins at 10% body fat. For most of you guys who are chasing aesthetics, you can get there at 10% body fat. Usually around 10 or 11% is what you would call basically a good beach body. That's a good beach body physique. In fact, 10% is probably lean enough to do decent in some men's physique contest. So it's not as bad as some people seem to think it is. Alright guys, so that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time in part 3.